Reports this morning suggest that Chelsea have made an £80 million bid for Jadon Sancho. Full disclosure, this has come from the Sun news publication. We understand there's always an air of trepidation surrounding their news based on their reputation, both from a sporting point of view and, of course, a political sense in the UK. But we want to gauge your views and opinions on it. We do want to gauge your views and opinions on it because it's big trending news, especially across the Chelsea forums, Twitter, and everything else this morning. Hit that like and that share button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Let's go, people. Good morning. Welcome back to the Terrace, everybody. Chelsea had a massive victory last night, and within minutes of that game finishing, Daniel, I want to get his name right here. I don't want to be disrespectful. Journalist Daniel Cutts from The Sun published an exclusive story where he claimed that Chelsea have launched or will be launching a bid of £80 million to try to lure Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund to Stamford Bridge in the summer. This news was, of course, met by panic by Manchester United fans who have been seen as the long-term suitors for Jadon Sancho and the favourites in this race. And they still very much may remain as the front runners in this race. But it certainly isn't the kind of news that Man United fans wanted to either go to bed knowing or wake up listening to. The Sun, as we've already said, there's a lot of credibility issues or problems that people have with them. But a few of us were discussing this behind the scenes yesterday, and we still feel that it's worth exploring. Just because they've got a bad reputation doesn't mean they don't necessarily get transfer stories right, because sometimes they get. I always remember, I want to say Neil Custis, he did a story about Man United going in for Neymar, and it was ripped to shreds, only for Neymar about a week or so later to admit that it was completely true. So I don't want to discount it 100% in case this indeed turns out to have an air of truth to it. Within the football spectrum, barring Everton and Liverpool, the majority of football clubs, agents, players still treat the Sun with a fair amount of respect. Regardless of what you and I think of them as a publication, people do. So I do want to gauge your views and opinions on their story this morning, how credible you think it is it likely to happen? The comment here I want to go to straight away from Liam that says Fabrizio is saying that Lukaku is only 70 million. Well, Liam, if you watched our video, I do implore you to watch our videos a little bit more, and I don't mean that with any disrespect. We had Belgian football expert on here yesterday, Sasha Tavadioli, who spoke about Lukaku and his proposed move away from Chelsea. 80-odd million euros has been the quoted price. So he put that number out there before Fabrizio did. I'm not saying Fabrizio is late to the party on this one, but Sasha knows Belgian football intricately, has many great connections. We spoke behind the scenes, so go and check that video out. We've also got a link on our Twitter page that kind of gives you a highlight and a summary. Lukaku to Chelsea is legitimately in talks. It could happen this summer. Chelsea want him. They've been talking to him for around 3 months now, solidly, to the agent, trying to work out a deal to bring him back. So you're absolutely right in relation to that. Arjan here says, why pay 150 million for Kane when you can get Sancho and Lukaku for just around the same price? And that is a very good point. That is a very, very good point to be made in relation to that deal. Why? And why is the big question in relation to that? We have a super chat that's come through here that says, remember, Mikel, don't count us out on Sancho. 80 million for Jadon and 80 to 90 million for Lukaku. That would be curtains and a better deal than trying to get Harry Kane. And that's the question that we can pose to you. You know me here on the terrace, what we like to do here, and we do this quite regularly, really, is we love to talk about, we like to talk to you about what is and isn't likely, but also what you would like to see happen in these scenarios as well. So I'm just checking on something here. I'm not too sure why that isn't working. Just something's not quite working my end. I'm trying to fix that now. Is it working yet? No, it doesn't appear to be. So I'm just trying to fix something my end. Apologies. Sorry, I'm having a bit of trouble here at my end. All right, sorry. Hopefully that's worked now. So a bit of a technical issue here. That's working now. Cool. That's great. Make sure you're hitting that like. Do me a favor, please, everyone who's tuning in. Just wherever you're watching platform you're watching this on, and just refresh the stream for me. Like, come out of it, close it, and come back in again, just for an update that we've put through. That'd be amazing if you could do that. I just want to read some of these comments here. Someone here says, you just said the Sun. Absolutely. And I question their credibility like the rest of us. I absolutely do. That's why I pose it to you. We have to be fair here. What we do at the Football Terrace is we take stories from we had it yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, I probably suffered more abuse online than I've had in a long time. It was a cast iron fact that with major UK bookies yesterday morning, Man United were down as the favourites to sign Harry Kane. We did a story, and part of the video we did touched on that story. The Man United were the favourites, and we just got dogs abuse from people. What we do at the Football Terrace, unless we have someone on doing an exclusive interview, we pass on information that the mainstream media has published, and we get you to gauge and view your opinions. All we ask is that you don't attack us as the aggregators. We are just telling you what's being said. It's like you having a go at me for ITES having a bad opinion, or you having a go at me because of a clip we show you because something a manager has said. All we're doing is passing on that information and giving you the opportunity to speak. So any further abuse that we get, nasty claims, I mean, I was called everything from a psychopath to a lunatic, right down to the usual clickbait stuff. All of those people are now just being banned and removed from the channel because we don't think it's fair, really, especially when we've iterated so many times what we are and how we operate. So I appreciate your point there, but we're here to give you the chance. If you want to say the Sun are chatting nonsense, say the Sun are chatting nonsense. Don't have a pop at the Football Terrace or myself, please, because I think my mental health needs to be respected, just like everybody else's does out there as well. We've been around for many, many years doing this, and I think it would just be overtly disrespectful, just not respectful to the platform, the way some people treat us and behave and everything else. So I just wanted to put that out there. And by the way, actually, the Daily Mail reported on this. I'm just being sent a link. The Daily Mail actually reported on this before the Sun, I think. Well, no, actually, that's not true. Well, no, it says theirs came out 7 hours ago. The Sun's came out 9 hours ago, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm not too worried about that. We're here to talk about whether you think Chelsea are in for Sancho or not. That's the most important thing. Craig here says, morning, Terry. Aren't United still owed 45 million for Lukaku, which is also one of the reasons why they need to sell? Absolutely, Craig. Spoke about yesterday in the stream with Sasha. One of the biggest reasons that Inter could end up selling Lukaku is the fact that he's looked at as an asset that they could raise money from. And they may be able to get resolve some of their financial issues with and stuff like that. So that's definitely something that's come up and that's been discussed. In fact, what we'll do for you this morning, in case you missed it yesterday, we'll play that clip yesterday from Sasha. But whatever you do for us this morning, please hit that like and that share button. Refresh the stream as well. Like I said, if you haven't done that yet, please come out, shut YouTube chat down, and come back into the stream if you would be so kind just to do that for us. That would be amazing. We'll share with you what Sasha said yesterday. We'll put it up on the big screen. Hope you enjoy. Chelsea are talking to another striker, though. I know you tweeted about this yesterday, the possibility of the return for around 80 million euros of Lukaku back to Stamford Bridge. Can you give us some more information on that proposed move?
You know that the situation of Inter Milan is impossible for the moment in the point of view economic. So he is one of the players supposed to bring as fast as possible money that they need. I can confirm is that they are for the moment, and it's not now, it's not from now, it's from months, talking with the agent, with the entourage of the player. But the closest club that could reach the possibility to bring in England Lukaku is absolutely Chelsea, because of the fact, Chelsea has always been the first club of Romelu Lukaku. He already he dreamed about it for years, when he was in Belgium, and when he came, he didn't achieve something he really wanted to, and it was like a big a step back in his career.
So I can clarify on this. Chelsea are interested. They've had those conversations with the agent about bringing him back. So a lot of them, and we understand that Inter Milan have problems financially. They haven't paid Manchester United £40 million still that's owed for Lukaku. So we know that they need to raise money. And Lukaku, are you saying that Lukaku is seen as that asset that could be used to raise money? So to clarify that. In terms of Lukaku, one of the sort of challenges people have is that he's happy at Inter Milan, so why would he move? Is his desire to finish his business, to return to Chelsea as a king, is that a bigger desire for him than maybe staying at Inter Milan, in your opinion? So that was yesterday with Sasha. Go check that video out. It's you go on our community page. We've got the timestamp link, so you can go in and watch that. It's one of the things he said as well. It's very interesting is that Lukaku's got this desire to rejoin Chelsea now as a king or as a god. I think he said king. Might have said god. He might have said both at some point in the interview. And he wants to basically come back and unfinished business, as it were. And I think that's I think that should be something that Chelsea fans are very, very, very encouraged by. I really do. There is a genuine opportunity and a genuine chance to bring him back to Stamford Bridge. Is he first choice? Not in my opinion. My opinion is it's Haaland, Kane, Lukaku, but they have to weigh that situation up. If Spurs don't yield on Haaland, if it's seen as more important to bring a striker in this summer rather than wait until next year, there's reports that Lukaku, that Haaland now favours Spain. So maybe Chelsea look at it and say, do you know what? It's too much of a risk waiting for Haaland. We're not going to get Harry Kane. So let's put all our eggs into the Lukaku basket, bring him home, and see if he can deliver and score those goals for us. I don't think that's an unfair way to look at things or whatnot. Comment here says rumors around Nicola Barella transfer to Chelsea. Well, I saw a story again. I think I saw that in the Sun actually about a £60 million swoop for him yesterday. I've also seen Liverpool linked with him as well. I haven't delved too much into it, but I have seen them links. Let's do a few more of your comments that are coming through here. Liverpool are going to lose today. Maybe. We'll, of course, be covering that live straight after the game. Chelsea fans, the Sancho hype isn't real. If the Sun, its most credible source, if the Sun is the most credible source reporting it. And that brings me on to my opinion on this. And I always think it's important for me to differentiate between reporting to you what the media is saying and giving you my views. I still can't see Chelsea doing it. That's just my personal feeling as it stands right now. I don't see Chelsea making it happen. I don't even see you submitting a bid. I get a little feeling this could be information that's being fed in to try and maybe force Manchester United along a little bit potentially, or it could just be a story that the mainstream media have made up. And I just say that because there's just something about it that don't feel right. And maybe it's because maybe if this was reported by a different outlet, even if it was the Mirror or the Express, you'd have a little bit more, oh, could this be true? The only thing is that it's out of nowhere. It's a story that's just sort of reared its head from nothing, as opposed to anything else. There was links for Chelsea to him. There had been links with Chelsea prior to that as well. I mean, ESPN have reported on this as well. They have said exactly the same thing. The same thing. They say that Chelsea launched £80 million bid for Jadon Sancho. I mean, so ESPN have reported on it as well. It's just whether or not you want to believe it, or whether or not you think it's credible, whether or not you think it's true. And these questions always need to be posed. These questions need to be asked, I suppose, and put forward. I'm just not convinced. That's the problem with me. I don't know. I just kind of feel there's just something about the Jadon Sancho to Chelsea don't feel right. But normally when I say these things, people have a pop at me and say that I'm being bitter. I'm really not. It just don't feel right to me as a deal. But I do want your views and I do want your opinions. I'm going to share the link now in the comment sections for you to phone in and for you to have your say this morning. We always are interested in what you're all thinking, what you're all feeling, what's going on in the game and stuff like that. Get your super chat questions in as well for me. Comment here says, bro, Cho is good. Why isn't he starting? I hope he will get to play the Aston Villa game. I think Hudson-Odoi is a very, very talented guy. Why isn't he starting? I don't know the answer to that, mate. Legitimately, I don't know the answer. I don't know why. What I will say about it is maybe it's the formation. Maybe it's the way that you're playing with 3 at the back, fullbacks. You're not really using wide players in the conventional sense. Maybe in the summer, if a new centre back comes in, you're looking at Varane, you're looking at Jules Koundé. If you bring in a top centre back, maybe you go back to a flat 4, and you go back to a flat 4 and you go 4-3-3. Maybe you go 4-2-3-1, and that opens up that opportunity for Callum Hudson-Odoi to play. Maybe that's what it is. Man like Jem here this morning says, big up everyone. Hope you're well. I'll be back soon. Big win last night, even though we made it hard. I think you did. I thought it was quite a comfortable Jem, really, until they got their goal. But even then, you shut up shop after that and absolutely killed it. There's a comment here that says, my man from Kennington. Of course, he'll come back to his London roots. Maybe. Mo here says, Lukaku isn't good enough at Chelsea. We need Sancho and Haaland. That is a big claim. That is a very, very big claim indeed. Terry, do you think Lukaku is good enough to win Chelsea a Prem? I think in the right system, he could be. There's always going to be that question mark because it didn't quite work for him the first time around at Chelsea, and it didn't work for him in the way people wanted at Manchester United. His biggest successes have come at slightly smaller clubs, much smaller, or slightly smaller clubs when you look at Inter Milan. And I mean that with respect. Inter, of course, won trebles and won a Champions League, but I don't think they're on the same planet as a Chelsea, definitely not as a Manchester United in terms of scale and pressure. So would he be able to deliver? I don't know. And I say I don't know because he's failed before, so he could fail again. He's failed before, so he could fail again. We will see. We will see about that one. I'm going to go to some calls here. I'm going to get Abs on the line now to have his say with us this morning about this Sancho deal. Terry, what are my thoughts about VAR? Do you know what, George? I spoke about this last night, and I stand by what I said last night, that there's 2 things that have got to change. I think they're protecting referees too much at the moment with VAR. So they are almost doing everything in their power to not overturn a referee's decision. Unless it's a matter of fact. So Chelsea's penalty last night that was given, it was in the box. They had to change it. It's not, that part of the penalty wasn't subjective. It was in the box. It has to be a penalty. When it comes to the subjective parts, we're now seldom seeing referees change their mind on things unless they didn't see it. I think that's wrong. I think I think we should be praising referees for and we've also helped to create this beast. So when a referee makes decision A and then goes and checks the screen and changes his mind, we start saying, "Oh, you're rubbish. You didn't get it right first time." I don't care about right first time. I care about right overall. The second element that needs to change. So we need to overturn decisions that are completely wrong. Secondly, we need to mic up these referees to give us rationale and transparency through their decision-making process. Because maybe Werner's first penalty isn't given, but you hear why and everybody calms down. Maybe the referee says, look, I saw it, but I felt like Timo Werner purposely initiated the contact, wasn't making an attempt to win the ball. And under bylaw 2.17, under the whatever act, I'm just making that up and being a little bit sarcastic, that's not a penalty. And we all go, great. One, I've been educated. Two, I understand, and we move on. So I think that's what they need to do to improve it. I really do. Abs is coming on the show now. Keep your super chats coming. Keep your comments coming in as well. Abs, morning, mate. How are you? You're on mute.
I'm good, bro. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. What's your take on this Sancho news this morning? Yeah, the Sun have reported on it, but so have ESPN, so have the Daily Mail. Do you think Chelsea will launch a bid for him?
Hold on one sector. Yeah, there we go. You see what it is with Sancho. I personally think it's just another PR stunt, to be honest. I mean, I'd love him at Chelsea. I told you, he's, what's it called? He is the best right winger in the world. I stand by it. Tech and output, you don't get much better than that. For me, as much as I'd love him to come, I think Man United have more chance of getting him because you need him more than us. Not that Sancho wouldn't walk into our team, because he'd easily walk into our team. It's just because physically there's not enough space. There's a lot of we've got Cho still there. He's on 100 grand a week. We've got Ziyech, we've got Mount, Pulisic, all them guys there. So I don't know necessarily if we're going to go for Sancho. And I don't mean this to be disrespectful for him, but there's other areas within the pitch which need sorting out first. As you mentioned, we need a striker right now. I said it before and I'll say it again. Flaccid FC, and we need Jason Bourne up top. Jason Bourne's our Viagra if he defit. And so from there, we'll be able to work out. I think Sancho will be a great addition in terms of trying to, trying to make us even more scary than what we already are. But no, I doubt we're going to cop Sancho, especially if we're going to spend money on a centre-back, a DM, and Lukaku or Haaland or Kane on top of that.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. I think I always look at these deals and think there's an outside chance. I think there's an outside chance for Chelsea, but you would need something. There would need to be a Hudson-Odoi and or a Ziyech to leave for it to happen. And if you were able to say, listen, Jadon, we've got bids coming in for both these players. They're leaving. You're going to be the main man. I would then, regardless of who's reporting on it, I would then be worried and concerned. The other saving grace for Man United, which I think that fans need to remember, is that Dortmund want this deal done before the Euros. The season ends in 5 days' time for Dortmund. The Euro starts in 3 weeks' time. So this deal could be done in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Will Chelsea have all of their ducks in a row, their house in order in terms of spacing the squad for Jadon Sancho before the deal's done? Because the worst thing for Jadon is this. By the way, I think Ziyech is brilliant. He's just struggling in his first year in the Prem. And we all know how good Hudson-Odoi is. I don't know if Jadon Sancho is going to want to join a squad where if come pre-season, 2 or 3 of your lesser performing forwards click into gear and you haven't sold them, he could find himself down the pecking order. If Werner's still there but comes alive next year, if Hudson-Odoi moves on to that next level, Jadon might find himself on the bench. Now, I'm all up for players wanting to fight for things, but I think he knows at Man United that right-hand side of the attack is practically mine. And I think that's still going to be the biggest draw for him. But listen, if Chelsea do go in for him, I'm always nervous and worried because you've taken so many players away from us in the past, from Mikel to Ian Robben, even Eden Hazard. Like Man United, it looked like we were the ones who were going to get him. And you won the Champions League, and that was it. That Didier, I don't think that never really gets mentioned a lot. Though I think that Didier Drogba header and that penalty win not only made you European champions, that makes you more desirable. It gave you Champions League football. You wouldn't have had Champions League football if that hadn't have happened. I don't think you would have signed Hazard. So yes, I'm still mentally scarred and jaded from those days. So yeah, I don't want to see it happen again. Abs, listen, appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say this morning. Top man. Thank you. We've shared the link for you to call in again on the Discord server. If you want to phone in and have your say, please feel free to do that. I'm going to share it now, actually, on the general chat page. If you fancy coming on this morning, giving us your views, giving us your opinions. We're live for another 10 minutes or so. Let's do some more of your comments while we're waiting for any more callers. Chris says, can this season just end? I've had enough. Yeah, I hear you, man. I do hear you on that, 110%. I feel like that most of the time, to be fair. Most of the time at the minute. Do you think Hazard could be heading back to Chelsea? Interestingly, again, you need to watch our interview last night with Sasha. It's headlined around Lukaku and Kane. Go and watch it. We speak about Eden Hazard. Sasha is very, very close to a lot of the Belgian players. No, it's exceedingly unlikely that he's going to be leaving Real Madrid anytime soon for multiple reasons. He'll remain at Madrid next year. There's almost no shadow of a doubt about that whatsoever. How are Inter a smaller club than Chelsea? I think on a global sense, Inter Milan are smaller. I just do. I don't even mean it disrespectfully. Maybe not much smaller, but I don't see them as bigger than Chelsea. Based on the fact that in the contemporary world, the Premier League is so much bigger than Serie A. So you've got to think about it. Every week around the world, hundreds of millions of more people watch Premier League football over Serie A. So by natural attrition, the big Premier League clubs are going to grow to be bigger. And we know that because their income is so much bigger than the majority of European clubs. Why is the income bigger? Because more people watch it, they have more fans, and sponsors pay more money. It's basic math. It's basic math for me. Historically, that's a different argument, but that isn't the point we're talking about here. I don't think players are necessarily feeling the pressure because of Inter Milan's or Chelsea's or Man United's history as such. It's about the expectations put upon them now, because there are some massive historic clubs that have fallen from grace and no one feels pressure playing for them. So the history only matters when you're in a contemporary sense if you're still challenging. The link, if you want to call in, I've shared it again in the live comment section as well. Sancho, use your head. Chelsea have too many mids. They don't play like Dortmund. Liverpool is your best destination. Chris says here that Hazard is past his prime. A lot of people, we spoke about that yesterday, and my view on Hazard's simple. If he has the minerals for it and puts the hard work in, he could get back to those levels. But I don't know if he's got the minerals to do it. That's the point I would make. M's here with us to call in this morning. What are you saying, M?
What you saying, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm very well, mate. What's on your mind?
Fam, Sancho, I rate Sancho in it, but it's the thing where if you're gonna get Sancho, you gotta get rid of someone in it. So someone like Adoy, it's gonna be long for him in it. So them ones there, I'll take him, but for 80 million, does it make sense? We need more of a striker than Sancho, to be honest. But I'll take him in it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll take him. I rate him, man. But separately though, I think Thiago Silva has been a signing of our season, man. The way he's so calm and composed yesterday proved it again. And what else I was gonna say? I think Matt had a good game. I think yesterday I think the players were fired up, but all seasons they've been up and down in it. So them ones there, man, they just need that mentality where every game counts, sort of thing. But in terms of Sancho, I'll take him, man. I'll rate him. He should be in the England squad as well, man.
We're going to be doing some shows from next week, like picking squads and everything else. I've been absolutely shocked. The amount. I'm not a connoisseur of European football, and it's purely a time thing, bruv. Like, I don't have the time to watch European football because of how much Premier League.
Premier League, yeah, Premier League big in it, big enough in it. So
especially this last season, right? There's very rarely been two games on at the same time. So once I've watched all of the Big Six and Leicester play, that's 7 games. Like, each game's 2 hours, including like a bit of build up and half time and whatever. Plus my live streams afterwards are an hour long. So each game's 3 hours, right? So you're talking like 21 hours of my weekend taken up just through watching and live streaming afterwards, plus all the prep I do. Like, I ain't got the time to watch any other games. But the amount of English pundits I've seen leave Jadon Sancho out of their squads is embarrassing.
I think because they don't watch him, innit? I think because they don't watch him, and I think the first half of the season he was poor in it, but he's cold, man. He's cold differently, man. I think he's our best probably attacker when everyone's on full, man. Just what he does on the pitch is just different, man. I'll take him, man. I rate him a lot.
I agree. I think I honestly look at him, right, and I see a player who is one of the best, literally one of the best creative players I've ever seen within his age group. There
100%.
isn't.
He's the reason why Pulisic left, innit? So it'll be a bit mad, fam. Do you get me? Because Pulisic had to leave Borussia because of Sancho. So if he comes Chelsea, is the same thing gonna happen? Like, I don't know, man.
I completely agree. If I want to put this into context for people, if you look at Lionel Messi, if you look his first 3 seasons as a professional football player. We won't look at his first one because he only made 7 appearances. If you go to the 05-06 season, for instance, and you look at his first season, okay, he got 5 assists and he got 8 goals. You go to his second campaign, 06-07, and that he's starting to play a lot more games, right?
Yeah.
He got 17 goals, which is amazing, but 3 assists. You go to the 07-08 season as an example. 16 goals, 16 assists. Like Jadon Sancho in his first 3 seasons as a pro, over 20 assists each season. Like the levels of this kid. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Messi. That would be stupid. I'm not saying he's even technically better than Messi. I'm just stating that he's technically very good, and the level of outputs this young man has. Compared,
man, he's too much.
Levels, bruv. Like literally. It's levels, you know. I'm just looking here at, like, from a creative point of view. You know, Messi for me. You know, it took him 1, 2, 3. I'm into his 6th season now, and he hadn't hit over 20 assists yet.
Wow.
And that's Lionel Messi with all his creativity. You know, his goal scoring was off the charts. Like, I thought he's more.
100.
If you start looking at creators, and I've been like, I'll put this out to the viewers. Talk to me about the best creators out there. And let's review it. And let's look at their first 3 seasons as a pro in a big league. I'm telling you, none of them have done what Jadon Sancho, what he has achieved.
He's too cold, man.
Unprecedented in the English game. And that element of Sancho doesn't get spoken about. Everyone talks about our good season, good skill. And I'm like, he's done something that no other player ever in the history of top flight European football has ever done. It's just ridiculous.
When you
everyone writes off.
Nah, it's because Terry, first he's in the Bundesliga, and the second part is that he plays the first half of the season, he weren't showing his potential. I think he was injured or something, but second half he's come back mad strong. So then once there, Gareth Southgate has to take him. Like, you have to take him anyway. Like, a player like that, you don't leave at home. It'll be very silly if Gareth Southgate don't take him. But if he comes Chelsea, I'll be gassed. He's from South London, like me. South London, bro, we got so much talent, man. You get me, fam? He's the poster boy for us, man.
You're not as talented. You're not as good as East London, but I hear you.
Nah, Terry, bro. South's got the best ballers, bro.
it's all love, bro. Do you know, it's funny? I was having a debate. One of my guys, he's from sort of Southeast way, and we were watching this show. We were watching this kind of show. It's based in East London. And I was like, see, all the good shows get based here. He's like, yeah, but it was filmed in Southeast London. It was like, shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But Southeast, East, do you know what? We're in the cold light of day. Yeah. Same place, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, bro.
You know what I mean?
Don't tell him, man. I'm going to let you go.
Listen, you take care, my guy. You take care. We'll speak to you again soon. All the best, brother. Take care, mate. Cheers, Mike. Thank you. Top man. Make sure you're hitting that like button and that share button this morning. We want your views and opinions on this news. Reports from ESPN, the Daily Mail, and the Sun this morning that Chelsea are going to make an £80 million bid for Jadon Sancho, or have already launched. The ESPN are reporting on it slightly differently to everybody else. But I want your opinions. I want your thoughts. I want your feelings on this right about now, ladies and gentlemen. In other news, as we brought to you exclusively yesterday on the Football Terrace, Chelsea have been in talks with Lukaku for many, many months now about trying to bring him back to the Premier League. He's up for it. Even though he is happy at Inter, he is up for the move. Conte remaining at Inter is going to be a big point. And also, maybe Inter will be tempted with the money because they are in financial ruin at this moment in time. They legitimately are. So this could happen and this could move forward. We're going to do one more call. Aaron is here with us. How you doing, bro?
I'm not too bad, mate. It's the first time I've been on a date. You know, I've been talking to someone.
By the way, I did see that picture of you and a young lady out and about having fun. How did the date go?
It went really well, thank you. We had a really good time and we got used to each other a lot. So it was nice. It felt good to have someone. It felt good because I haven't felt that for ages.
Did you get a cheeky little kiss?
Like Harry Potter, I must not tell lies. Yes.
Hey, go on, my guy.
This is the first time I've called since Rover's revealed the new manager, which is a weird one. Obviously, it's the former United Academy man, Richie Wellens, our former player, so I'm quite happy about that. But yeah, on the Lukaku thing, first of all, Look, I think I was on another stream in the past few days, and there was reports that Conte might leave Inter Milan. Now, I'm not too sure how true that is, but there was reports saying that Conte might leave Inter Milan in the summer. I don't know if it's because of the finances. I'm not too sure if it's because of the club or anything like that. So I think if Conte did leave Inter Milan, that might be a major factor in Lukaku leaving for Chelsea, because I think that Lukaku will want to work for a different manager like a Tuchel or someone. And I think if Conte leaves Inter, he might not feel the same about the next man that comes in. So that might be a factor in how he moves to Chelsea, if he does move to Chelsea. On the Sancho thing, look, there's one destination for me for Sancho. It's Manchester United. And it's something very interesting because obviously we now know that Harry Kane's wanting to leave. Imagine if, and this is not going to happen because the Glazers are too tight with money. But imagine if United got Jadon Sancho, Raphael Varane, and Harry Kane. I mean, it's very unlikely they get all three, but at least two of those three. That makes United a lot more dangerous threat. And I see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's speech after the 1-1 draw with Fulham. I know I haven't seen any manager do a speech like that since the Ferguson retirement speech in 2013. So, it's the first manager that's actually done a speech to the fans. It was great to see him do that. And it shows Ole Gunnar Solskjaer cares about the team. They care about the fans supporting the team, not the club, not the Glazers, but the team. And, it'd be nice to see Man U bring a trophy back in 10 days' time. And maybe they could challenge for the Premier League next season if they bring in 2 out of 3 out of Sancho, Varane, and Kane. Sancho will be one of them. Varane could be another one, but I wouldn't bet against Harry Kane, to be honest, especially with Chelsea going in for Lukaku. But, yeah, massive respect, man. And look, we've got an exciting new era coming up next season with Richie Wellens as manager. He's a former player. He takes no BS. He doesn't settle for second best. And I'm hearing about the targets we're in for already. And, he wants a specific type of player, and he referenced a specific name, in terms of the positions he looks for from the team that got to the championship and near towards the playoffs of the Premier League a decade ago. So the fact that we're thinking like that from a decade ago in a modern way is very exciting because it shows that we're going in the right direction. So I'm really excited for next season, man. With Coppinger in his new role behind the club, and with the guy Graham Younger heading up talent, got Cardiff to the Premier League. He's going to bring that experience from getting someone to the Premier League a few years ago to the club. And yeah, I think we're going to hit double-digit signings, man. I think we're going to be the busiest club in English football. I'm not going to lie. So we'll see what happens.
Listen, top man, Aaron. Thanks for coming on, and congrats on getting your date. And I hope it all goes.
Mate, thank you very much.
I want an invitation to the wedding.
Yeah, obviously, man. But no, it's but no, seriously, man. Much appreciated, and hopefully I'll be able to bring you more Donny updates next season and through the transfer window.
Top man, thank you very much, mate. All the best.
Cheers.
Top man, thank you. He makes it. I love that kid. Latimus here says Aaron has more successful DMs than Arsenal have had Champions Leagues. This is true, Latimus. This is very, very true indeed. Listen, everyone who's tuned in this morning, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. I've got a meeting that I'll pop off to now. Back later on today with more content for you as ever. Do me a big favor and smash that like button. Hit the share button as well. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless.